Hello and welcome. Today I'm looking at Deformation Space Recording Alliance, their version of a masterpiece, Autobot Blaster, and cassette ram horn. So, already threw the box away. It was pretty much plain black, just had him mistransformed on the front. It's awesome. So, let's get right into it. Accessories, well, you can already see, it's got his blaster. Autobot's Blaster. Blaster's Blaster. Then we got two nicely finished speakers, which you just transform the hands and be able to use those. There we are. Get that thumb in there. Fold those over. Oops. There we go. Yeah. All right, looks good. It also comes with one additional face. The extra face, is actually the happy one that is on him. The straight face, kind of neutral, is the standard one. So I'm just going to leave his hand in there for now. Let's go from the top down. Let's take a look at him. He's got some very nice shiny blue eyes, which when I replaced the face, the eyes popped out as well. So be aware of that. He is painted in a flat, a matte paint for the most part. Some of it looks like molded plastic, but for the most part, he is painted. The only downside with the paint is because it's matte, it really scuffs easily. And let's see, yep, you can see some marks there. I've got marks on both of his hip joints. Kind of difficult to see on camera. This one, some of the red is rubbing off due to the transformation. That's the only downside. If they had put a coat or two of clear, or if they had just used a glossy paint, maybe a better quality of paint, I don't know if that's the issue, then that wouldn't be a thing, but it is unfortunate. The way I see it though, battle damage. I mean, why not? Get his hand out here a little bit. There we go. So, but I mean, overall, he looks good. He does feel good. Everything about him feels nice and sturdy. Nothing is loose, really. Get a little bit of movement when you kick his legs. He does have some die cast, so they've got a little bit of weight. His toes are definitely die cast, and these two panels feel like they're die cast. They might just be a really nice plastic. But I mean, he's got some decent weight to him. Nothing crazy though. But I mean, he does look good. His finish does look good. I just wish that they had done a better quality on the paint. Got some nice details, both in the line work, as well as just the little paint apps. Coming around. Very clean on the back, too. They definitely did a good job of going Toon accurate and G1 accurate. Get a look at that blaster. It's hard for me to tell if this is painted or if it's just molded in that color. But either way, it's, G1 style, so not a lot of details, but it does look good. And it fits in his hand very nicely. Then we do have, he doesn't have too much as far as, gimmicks, but, that opens, and this is the stupidest thing ever. That pops forward, right? You just, and then you can pop it back in. It doesn't always want a lock going back in, but the problem is, and I'll show you when I get him into his boombox mode, the cassette doesn't fit, and that is a known issue with this guy. If you've seen any other reviewers on this guy, I am sure that they brought it up as well. And I mean, the Ramhorn figure isn't terrible. He's got a little bit of paint on him there. His eyes are red, but they kind of get washed out because of his normal color. His weapons, they're either painted or plated, but I mean, they look pretty good. Some nice detail on them, some decent detail on him. Only real articulation he has his head, his tail, and you can, move his feet around. So nothing special to write home about with him. It's cool that they included one, but the fact that he doesn't fit kind of makes him worthless unless you just, you can leave him in his robot mode. His animal mode doesn't look terrible. Cassette mode, Let's see here. So his head, it's on a ball joint, but he also has this extra joint, which helps with popping the face off, but it also gives you a lot of upwards articulation. That's all the down he has. And that was a little popped off of that extra joint. He does do a full 360. Ball joint that's in there. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit of side to side. Not too much. He's got good shoulders. He's got up to there. And he's got a second joint. So he can go all the way up. And that's nice. I mean, you don't even need that for transformation. You got a bicep swivel. You have a double jointed elbow. Really nice. Your wrist will rotate. No in and out or side to side though. And your fingers are each on 2 pins. He does have the curved on the end, so it's the wonky point. And then his thumb has a ball joint and 2 pins. So pretty decent articulation on the fingers. And I'll just leave them curled up because I'll need them like that for the transformation. He has a really good ab crunch. And I also like how they used covers. So it's not just a gap back here, but that actually looks really good. I do wish more Masterpiece did that. Well, more figures in general did that. His thighs go out to there. Back to there when you slip it down on that joint. If you don't do that, then you're pretty much blocked. Forward, you have a little bit more without bringing it down, but if you do bring it down, it just helps prevent scratching. Still not perfect though. And again, with it all the way up, you don't get any outward, but if you pull it down, then you can go all the way out. And it's just friction. You can see again, the leg has a little die cast, so it's compared to the rest of him, it's got a little weight. Not too much though. Double jointed knee. So you get way up there. Nice. You have thigh rotation. You have a little bit of up just because it gets blocked by the leg. You don't have any down. And then pretty good ankle tilt. And he is overall pretty sturdy. Once you figure out what pose you want him in, I mean, he has no problem standing. Move these guys out of the way. Let's do a little bit of a size comparison. We got Masterpiece Wheeljack. You stand. There we go. Then we have TE01 Optimus Prime. And they look pretty good together. He is just about the same height. And then lastly, I do not have a G1 Blaster. I have the 40th anniversary reissues that Walmart just let out of him and Soundwave, but I have opted to leave him in the box for now. So instead, here is the Legacy Blaster. which will soon to be the Studio Series 86 with a very slight paint touch-up. So there you go. And on that note, transformation. Get rid of that. And I'll go ahead and fold his fist up as long as I'm right here. All right. I'll go ahead and start on the back. I'm just going to extend. Going to bring that panel out. Going to bring all that out. I'm going to fold this out and fold his head in. And then I will bring this, rotate it around on that screw. And I'm going to leave it there just for now. I'll come back to that. I'll go ahead and pop open his arms here. Pop open this cover. And you have a slot here with this tab. All right, and it's just going to rotate up. And once you locate the tab, tab it in. There we go. Fist, we'll just rotate in. We'll do that same thing over here. You got the tab in the slot on the back of the shoulder. Get the fist up in there. And I'll go ahead and bring this down. I'll tab that top piece into the slot that's right behind his cover, the cassette cover. And there we go. Good. All right. Now the legs. I'm going to bring both of them down on that hinge, just to give me a little extra room to work. I'm going to flip this down first. I'm going to do that on both sides because I have a tendency to forget. And after getting those two, we're going to flip up just these panels on the back of the legs. And then we're going to flip the sides out. I'm going to use the ankle tilt here, bring out the handle. Okay, and now this whole piece going to rotate out on that hinge right there. And this is why you want the ankles tilted, because otherwise it is definitely going to scratch. Even with them tilted, I still get a little scratch. Just, it's not too bad. And now you want to bring the ankles all the way in. Rotate this black piece, right? So it's facing down, and then rotate that around so it covers up those little red dots. Okay. And you can also go ahead and bring the ankle up into there, you know, off of its tilt. I'm going to do the same on this side. Do that. Rotate and then flip. And now I'm going to lift up. You know, it had that tab for that slot. Lift it up. Make sure this is all stretched out so that's flattened. And rotate it. That's squeaky today. Okay, and then bring it right back down, tab and slot. Good. Do the same thing over here. Straighten it all out. Do the rotate and bring it back down. All right. And now I'm going to just lay them both over. And leave it right there for just a second. Okay. Next thing, because I do forget this all the time as well, You're going to flip out these two little black pieces. And the manual says to flip them out all the way. I don't know why. They don't seem to serve a purpose. And they kind of work better if you have them out at 90 degrees because they'll fill a gap. But I'll touch on that again in the cassette mode and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I usually just leave them up anyway. So, we've got it all like this. These are folded in, handles out. This is all laid flat. And now, I'm just going to tilt everything up on this hinge for the knee. Right. Bring it all up on both sides. Now, you've got this tab, and it's just going to rest in the cavity right here underneath the handle. It's not going to actually click into anything. Also, there we go. Want to compress these thighs again, and that's why mine have a lot of the red paint transfer right there, because unfortunately you need it for transformation. A little annoying. Now we're going to take the crotch piece, flip it down, rotate it, and it was tabbed into that square. Now it's going to tab into that square. There we go. And that frees that up for these. You flip these around 180. Right, they were locking these panels in for his legs. Well, now they're going to lock them in for the front of his cassette. And as I rotate it, you've got a slot and a tab there that's going to lock in. You've got that going into there. And then you have this slot for this very thin tab on both sides. So let's get to it. And make sure this hinge goes back in so it sits like that. There we go. See, tabbed, tabbed, tabbed. And then just to show you a little bit better on that hinge, you just bring it up. Right, so you want it sitting like that. Okay. Make sure that stays up for now. Fold this all the way in. And thankfully, everything tabs in really nicely. Everything feels really comfortable. I don't feel like I'm stressing anything. These two silver pieces, gray pieces, flip them down. Those lock the ankle tilt, whether it's for, regardless of which mode you're going. So if you don't pop those up before you try doing the ankle tilt, you are going to have collision. And depending on how hard you try to fight it, you might damage something. So just be aware of those. Okay, everything's looking nice and straight. Got the thighs this way. There's probably only one way to do that. I don't know if you could flip them around. But now you want to take these panels, just pop it up and slide it around. All right, show you a little bit better on this side. Pop it up, rotate it around. Now we have these panels that we ignored earlier. You're going to disconnect them and accordion them out. See, it was just tab and slot, keeping it together. And tab and slot. Simple as it can be. I really do like it is a simple transformation. And like I said, no point do I feel like I'm stressing anything to the point where it might break. And I like that. I can definitely appreciate that. Because I am the kind of guy, I transform all of my figures constantly, regardless of if they're Core, Deluxe, Voyager, Leader, or Masterpiece. And last thing we got to do, we're going to flip these up. They are going to lock in nicely. Bend them at this hinge. And you want to bring this one down first. See, the other will sit on it and lock nice and securely. And there you have Autobot Blaster in his cassette mode. And he looks great. The only real gripe that they lose out on in any kind of accuracy, whether it be toon or comics or whatever, this is centered. It is supposed to be slightly off center. Definitely not a big deal to me, especially since I was able to get this guy, you know, much, much cheaper. I think it was less than half the cost of the Fans Toys version. And for me, that is beyond worth it. Now, like I said, here are those little black tabs. The instructions say all the way up, sitting like this. They don't look bad. Maybe they're supposed to be antennas or something. But I kind of just like putting them 90. And look at that. It's a cleaner look. They fill the gap that was up there. I just think that looks a lot better. So you've got options. You can do it the way Deformation Space wants you to, or you can do it that way. You know, it's your toy. Do what you want. And now, let's transform Ramhorn so that I can show you how useless his cassette mode is. So I'm going to sweep both of his ears back. There you go. His horns back. His feet. His front feet will just flip around like that. And his back feet, come on, focus, will flip in like that and then rotate. And we do the same over here. Wrong joint. There it is. Good. Now keep his head out at an angle, because that'll make splitting it easier. Right? And then you'll split the back too. So you got them exploded out like this. We'll go ahead and take this, flip it all the way around. These two side pieces, you can see they're on sliders. Slide them all the way in. And then rotate them, tab and slot. There we go. These, you'll just rotate down and make sure to push in because they have a second hinge up here for the neck. This, rotate the entire thing around this way. And then the tail will just line up right there. If it doesn't, push it in. And the very last thing, his weapons do store, which is nice. I always appreciate any kind of weapon or accessory storage. I do like that. There you go. I mean, he doesn't look terrible as a cassette. Pretty plain. You only got those two painted pieces. They could have done much better as far as the finish, but I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It just honestly feels like something that would be for a studio series, like the clear eject I got with the Legacy version of him, or the core Rumble or Frenzy from the 86 collection. You know, that's kind of how he feels. I don't think there's any metal in him except maybe the various pins. And his finish just could be a lot... Oh, look at my camera right there. You can see. Yeah, the finish could be a lot better. A lot better. Look at that. Where'd that mark come from? I don't know, but it's there. So I'm glad we have one, right? Better than nothing. It just... Why doesn't he fit? Why? Literally, even aside from his weapons coming off, which without the weapons, it does not help. Putting him in this way, this way, this way, or this way does not help, with or without the weapons. Because it is his horns and this tiny little square piece, which is the surface that the ears hinge up on. Those are where it's hitting. It looks like to me anyway. And it's tempting to just take a razor blade, set it down, and just go straight across. But by doing that, I'm going to screw up his horns, and I'm going to weaken that surface where his ears are at. And you can see that's not a lot of material to begin with. So, needless to say, I'm not going to do that. I am not a fan of modifying my figures. I will if I see an immediate benefit to it, like I did with my Optimus on those spring-loaded shoulders of his. But this, not worth it. I'll just pretty much keep him as Ramhorn pretty much all the time. But, so there you go. And then for size comparison in blaster mode, I'm only going to do this one because it's kind of foolish to compare them to a vehicle. And I don't have a sound wave that transforms into a boombox other than the Walmart 43 issue, which, like I said, at the moment, both of those are staying in the box. But here he is next to the Legacy. Legacy eject with the ram horn. You know, pretty decent size. This one, he does fit, as he should, and it even reopens. A marvel. What an amazing concept that Deformation Space could have learned from. Hey, eject fits great though. And you know what? Not using nail. There you go. It works. The mechanism works. Just not with the cassette that it's supposed to work with. And it does not like to lock back in now that you can see it a lot clearer. Is what it is you have this piece in here, which the light is not picking up. It's supposed to lock on that, and it is very, very, very fidgety. There we go, I got it. But he is solid. And he looks great. Honestly, the only downside is that the cassette won't fit and that the paint is easily marred. You can easily transfer paint from red to silver, silver to red. That's really it. Other than that, he is an excellent rendition of a masterpiece blaster. I think, considering that, what was it? I got him for less than 100. Maybe 100 with shipping and handling. And for that price, I don't think you can go wrong. I know Fans Toys has the glossier paint, and his cassettes actually do fit properly. But not everybody can afford Fans Toys. And plus, like I said, I transform my figures back and forth constantly. All of them. Even my newest ones, X-Transbots, Run Amok and Runabout, and Fan Toys Thomas, Astrotrain. Each of those has seen probably 20 or 30 transformations by my hand since I got them. I just love it. This is fun. So he is holding up well. His transformation is easy, and it's relatively fun. So a little bit of marring right there already. So other than that, which I'm just kind of saying it's battle damage, whatever, he's great. Only a couple of minor issues, and it's mostly with him. So, but thanks for watching. There we go. That's all I got for you.